My dad has a fire, and it makes him very nervous. And sometimes it makes him very, very mad. And sometimes my dad's fire makes him not go to places me and my mom go. And I hope that my dad can do the stuff that me and my mom do.
I was born and raised in Tennessee and joined the military straight out of high school, and then that was pretty much my career until I left, and then started having problems with PTSD. After doing two tours in Iraq, being a senior NCO, you have a lot of responsibilities, taking care of soldiers and other NCOs, and the mission itself, and so. That brings a lot of burden on you, and then when things go south, or we call go bad, and that brings a lot more, not say burden, but heartache. Just over the course of years after I left the military in 2007, I guess I just kind of stuffed that stuff, as my therapist said, and then so one day you had to deal with it, and then when it was time for me to deal with it, it was way later than it should have been, and all built up, and it caused a lot of problems.
Operation Exfil aims to serve combat injured veterans, specifically those with PTSD, with a retreat type situation. It will be a weekend to start with, a free weekend to come to the Hill Country. Our long-term goal is to be able to do the fishing, the hunting, all the things that we love to do here in the Hill Country, and also to just provide a place of relaxation and reconnection, just kind of regrounding, not just for the veteran, but for their families. We're specifically aiming towards the PTSD families because we are a PTSD family and have a combat injured veteran with us, and we hope to not only help them find different ways to heal, but also to help heal our family and continue through that process, because it's a journey and it can be difficult. And so just being able to come together and have different activities for the children, for the moms, for the dads. Sometimes the veterans are the mom, sometimes veterans are the dad, or both, and be able to kind of come together, and then they go do something hunting, fishing wise, and we can entertain children and mothers, and then come back together for meals, and just kind of be able to, like I said, leave society and reconnect. So January of 2017, right about in there, God laid it on my heart to do some sort of something for veteran families. And so I just kind of toyed around with thoughts, and then a little bit later it became clear that it would be some sort of retreat center. I had visited Heart of Texas Resort for a baby shower and saw the setup of their community center where people rent for functions, and which is basically a huge room with picnic tables, the kitchen, the living room, all put together, and then like 5 little apartments. So it was like hotel rooms, and 5 little apartments to be able to house people. And I was like, oh, something like this is it. So I started to think about how much land we would need, and did some research on that kind of thing, and then God put the number. I was thinking 20 or 30, but then God put near 100. So we are in the process of looking for the most perfect place to be able to do that. Finally, it came together that we toyed around with the name. I was telling my husband about, I need a name, and we came across the one he came across and said, what about Exfil? And I was like, I have no clue what that is. I was able to listen to him as he read it, and it's short for exfiltration, thus Exfil, and it's the process of removing a soldier from a hostile environment and placing him into a secure location. So usually in the war zone is where that kind of thing would occur. And so when he read it out loud, I was like, that's it. That's totally what we want to do, remove them from their situation, which for some people is a war zone.
With Operation Exfil, I'd been on a lot of trips and stuff with other organizations, and it is just for the veteran alone, and the families don't get to go. And a lot of people don't realize how much of a hardship that it is on families. With our family, my wife's in therapy, and she's a therapist herself, and my son's in therapy, because it takes a toll, not just on the veteran, kind of inferred PTSD, if you will, to the others. And so that, really is a need that's lacking in the community, is to help the families as well with the veterans to come together. And so with Operation Exfil, that's what my wife's hoping to do, and as I'm able to try to help, because there's not a lot of support amongst families, to talk to, and even amongst veterans. A lot of times when we are out and you're amongst the community, you don't have a lot of others to really talk to, unless you get out and you live in a community that's around a base. But when you move outside of that, a lot of times you just doing your own life and running around, in the civilian world with people that haven't been in the military. So it gives a chance for both the veteran to come in and the family to come in and talk amongst themselves and say, wow, me too. I thought I was the only one that felt like that. I thought I was the only one whose husband did this, or whose wife does this, or whose child does this, or experiences this. Because just like when I go to my groups in the VA, and we sit around, a lot of times I've said it, and I've heard others say it. Wow, I thought I was the only person that had those feelings, and things like that. With being able to come to a place like Operation Exfil, it lets you come to a safe environment to where you and the family can enjoy each other. I think it'd just be great, and allow those families that can't get out and do stuff together. Like, I'm unable to go a lot of places, to be able to do that with their families. So that's what just be a place of relaxation and healing, and no putting on faces. This is who I am. This is where I'm at, and each of us are just dealing with it. We don't have to pretend.
There are families who have issues within their household with PTSD that are very dysfunctional, and just the issues are overwhelming. And then there are families on this end where nobody in society would know. It's either very controlled, or it's just not at the same level as over here. And then there are families like ours, which kind of function back and forth, mostly in the middle, but back and forth. And maybe upon first diagnosis is actually over here, and then back and forth, because it's like a dance. And I venture to think most of the families that we would aim to work with, or that we will work with, are in here doing this, because we don't ever stay in one section. And with your help, each of your help, we will be able to serve them.